Hello, my name is David Clow and I'm running for mayor here in Welland. I am currently in my office here at the Hub, 51 Niagara Street, and this is my first video to try and get the word out there to let people know that there's another option besides Mayor Campion. I grew up on these streets. I played Welland Tigers hockey, AAA hockey, played for the Pelham Raiders, box lacrosse. I went to Alexander Kuska Elementary School, and then I went to St. Andrews Elementary School, and then I went to Notre Dame. But once I was done playing hockey and lacrosse, I got into trouble on these streets. I didn't really have anywhere to go. I ended up going to the wrong places and hanging around the wrong people and just got into trouble as a young person. So that's why I've created this place here at 51 Niagara called The Hub. And it's a place where people can come, and it's not about having to spend money. You can come and have a free coffee. There's only one rule in here, that you be positive and productive. And that's been pretty effective so far, because it's a co-work space. It's a place where people can come, and it's an alternative to the drug houses or going to the bar drinking alcohol. It's a spot where people can come and find that dignity in life that keeps us on the straight path. I'm running for mayor for a few different reasons. The Hub is one of them. I tried to open the Hub the first time. This is the second location. I opened it up at 130 East Main Street, and it was the Muse Plaza, next to where the TD Canada Trust Bank used to be. And it was a really awesome place. We had a lot of awesome events in there. We had a few different events that would come up that we wanted to try and get some support from the city and see if they were going to be helpful in any way at all, provide us any assistance. So I went and met with the mayor, and he wasn't helpful at all. He wasn't offering any assistance. We went into the meeting. I went with a couple other local folks, and we went into the meeting, and we were excited and optimistic about the future, and we left deflated and hurt, because the mayor said to us, you know, maybe next year, in next year's budget. And I know that that's the same response he gives to so many people about so many different things. And it's heartbreaking, you know, because the mayor is supposed to be the champion, the cheerleader for us here in the city, and he just hasn't been that. He's missing, you know, we need that. And so the Hub was kind of that. It was a place where, you know, people could get together and have their voices heard. So the Hub was a co-work space. It was a community spot where people can come and use the space for free to do whatever they needed to do. Whatever, you know, if their love was art, they could come and do art, or showcase their art in the studio, have an art show, like where they could sell their work. There was so many musicians that came and wanted to, you know, promote their band or promote the event that they had coordinated, and they were able to do so because it was all no cost. So many people were using the space for photography, videography, to produce work that they wouldn't otherwise be able to produce, just because the costs are so limiting. Some of the events that we had planned were fundraisers. Some of them were just music shows. We saw a lot of the same bands that were doing cover songs, and we were seeing them over and over again at events, and we wanted to see more local, original work. You know, we have a lot of musicians here that do a lot of amazing stuff, so that's what we wanted to showcase at the Hub. And some of the events, we wanted to get the support from the city again, so we tried a second time. We went to the mayor, and he just shut it down again. So I thought, you know, let me try to send somebody else. So I sent some other people in to see if he would be supportive of them, if it was perhaps politically motivated, why he didn't want to support the Hub or what we were doing. And he shot them down too. So at that point, I thought to myself for the very first time, you know, I should run for mayor. I should just be that champion that we need for this city. Be that levity, be that buoyancy that we need to change things and turn things around here. Around the same time, a friend of mine, Ed Smith, was sued by the MPCA. The mayor was right involved in it all. He's very much one of the ringleaders, very much in cahoots with what's going on there. He likes to claim that he has no connection whatsoever to the actions of the board members of the MPCA, but he is a board member of the MPCA. He's very much complicit in what's going on. I did an interview with him last year, and I posted it on my YouTube, and to give folks the information that he wasn't letting out to the public. I asked him why he was suing Ed. I asked him what's going on at the MPCA and why he can't just come forward and tell people what's going on. And he advised me that, you know, it was an in-camera issue and he can't talk about it. And that's just his go-to. He just uses, you know, the blanket statements, maybe next year's budget and in-camera meeting, and that's how he just passes off anything he doesn't want to talk about. This is why the mayor's not showing up for the debate with me on your TV that's slated for September 20th. But he's got till the end of the month, the 31st of August, to hopefully join the debate, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think he can. I don't think he's able to answer these questions I'm going to be putting forward. The mayor right now at the MPCA, which is our Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, it's a body mandated for conservation, and thus the name Conservation Authority. The mayor is part of a group that has sued a local resident, Air Force vet, a local hero, Ed Smith. They sued him just because he was asking questions like I am now. What are you guys up to? You know, can we get an audit? Can we find out where this money's all been spent, why it's being spent? You know, are lands being developed that we should be conserving, etc.? These kind of questions need to be asked. Ed Smith asked those questions. He put forward the freedom of information to find out on our behalf what's going on. And what did they do? They sued him. Threatened his whole livelihood because they just don't want people knowing what they're up to. So the audit, I believe it's been completed, where there's been some documents that have been leaked. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Apparently there's $1.5 million missing dollars that can't be accounted for, 40+ contracts, missing payouts, things like that we hear about in the news. You know, these guys are getting national news attention, but not for the right reasons. This is not the kind of representation we need. So basically what we have right now is a region, an MPCA, and a city council that have just lost their way. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing at the MPCA. They're not working on any kind of conservation. It's the exact opposite. At the regional council, they're so preoccupied with all the different illegal activities and shady activities that they've been up to ever focus on what really needs to be taking place there. They're too busy dealing with ombudsman. At the MPCA, they're too busy dealing with the Auditor General. They're too busy dealing with all the different terrible things that they've been up to, getting national news attention, and they don't get to worry about us. The reason why that's happening is the same reason why it's happening here in this council. They don't have a plan. They don't have a platform. There's no mission, no vision. There's no clue. It's all hunches. It's all feelings. That's what's leading us. And I'm the only person putting forward the platform, as I've said. These 10 pledges that I'm putting forward are essential to turning things around here for us in Welland. So my first pledge is to modernize Welland, to transform the city, bring it into the 21st century, to turn it into a green, walkable, smart city. Well, what does that mean? Why do we need to do that? Well, I could go on forever, but I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can. Right now, our city is very much not modern. Everything, the way we run the city, none of it is efficient, none of it works. Recently, the internet has evolved into its next phase. At one point, there was so few domains, well, there was a lot, but it was not enough. We didn't have enough domains on the internet to be able to facilitate certain developments, software developments, and different applications that have been created nowadays. We didn't have the internet or the internet speeds capable of dealing with the way the world works now. We have now, it's called an Internet Platform version 6, IPv6. And IPv6 is just, it basically means that there's going to be a lot more domains available. So many domains that I couldn't even give a description that would describe how many domains are available to us. But what that does is it has transformed this came into full function, you know, around 2017, so just last year. But the advances have transformed the internet, and it's become something new. And there's a new phrase that you may have heard called the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things, or IoT applications, are how smart cities run nowadays. A city need not be ran inefficiently. A city need not be ran the way we run Welland. to modernize Welland, the first thing we would do is turn it into a smart city. By being a smart city, we'll use the advancements that have been made available to us by this IPv6, which what that translates into practically for us is to be an internet thing. To be a thing on the internet just means that it's a networked thing. So everything in the city will become connected to the internet. So what does that mean for us practically? Well, regionally, when we're talking about waste management issues, say, we right now send out a crew to go and say empty waste receptacles, dumpsters, just as a hypothetical example. If we were to do something like that, I know it's often contracted out privately, but it's a hypothetical example. If we were to send out a crew to go and empty a waste receptacle, if the waste receptacle was already empty, we'd have wasted the time, the man hours, the salary involved, the indirect costs like insurance, gasoline, all the different costs associated with sending out that crew. That's inefficient. If we had a city that were connected to the Internet of Things, a smart city, then we'd be able to know when that garbage was full or empty because we'd have an inexpensive little sensor on it. Those sensors can provide all kinds of data. If you look out on the streets, we have the LED lights out there. From what I understand, we way overpaid for those, and it was another issue that people have had with the City Council. If we were smart about it, we would have done a public-private partnership with next-generation sellers of these products. Because if you look at Facebook, for example, they make all their money on advertising. But this is not advertising per se. What they make their money on actually is data. The data that they provide allows them to advertise things to the people that are most interested in those items that they're trying to sell. So the data is what becomes of value. So how does that apply in the city? If we have these smart LEDs, these next generation streetlights, they don't just provide information about when it's light and dark. They provide biometric data, air pollution data, traffic data, all kinds of different information that is worth something to the people that sell those. So in that private-public partnership, we're able to get those lights for free. That's how a smart city runs. So I'm looking right now on my computer and I see Bell.ca, Bell Business Services. Speak to an IoT specialist, an Internet of Things specialist. This is not something I'm making up. You know, you can Google World Economic Forum and you can come up with, they'll give you all the examples of the different instantiations of how this has turned cities to be running efficiently as opposed to inefficiently as they have been in the past. It says here, make your city smarter with Bell. What is a smart city? Smart cities are connective, innovative, and digital. They use a combination of data, network connectivity, and analytics to deliver a more engaging and efficient public service. Through big data, cloud, and Internet of Things IoT applications, smart cities serve two critical functions. They improve the quality of life, allowing citizens to connect and engage with city infrastructure in entirely new ways, and they make a city run better, developing cost savings, more efficient operations, and improved asset utilization. This is Bell.ca, so this is not some mysterious thing that I'm trying to put forward to Aurelia right now is a Bell IoT smart city. There's a lot of them out there. Everyone's doing it because it's the thing to do. Now, again, I don't want to disparage Mayor Campion. He's not the worst guy. But he's not on the internet. He has no internet presence. He has no Facebook or social media whatsoever. He's not familiar. He doesn't have the computer savvy to be able to bring this city into the future, to modernize Welland the way it needs to be. And again, I don't want to discredit him, but I'm the only candidate that can do that. I'm looking at our council. I've been meeting the candidates and I can't see them being able to put this forward or to be able to navigate this process in an efficient fashion. They're talking years from now before they even have a plan in place. How many years after that will this come into the conversation? It's going to be a long time, trust me. I asked Mayor Campion about this. You know what he told me? We're doing it. And I said, sir, no, you're not. You're not even close to doing it. It's never even come into the discussions. I'm at all the council meetings. They're not discussing it. It's not happening, but it needs to. We need to modernize this city because if we don't, the whole world's going to pass us by. And you know what that means? That's going to mean more of our young folks taking off with the brain drain, not staying. I left town when I was a young guy. My mom had to get sick with cancer and pass away before I came back. And I wish I had come back earlier. I'm hurt that we didn't have the things in the city that we need to be able to that would have invited me to stay. I felt compelled to leave, just like so many young folks. So let's move on. Why did I leave? Well, I wasn't happy here. Why wasn't I happier? I don't know. Let me explain a solution. Mayor Campion's in the news just last week. He wants to build another highway, destroy a bunch of very, very, very important wildlife, natural habitat that we have here for another highway. This is the same antiquated thinking that has got us into the mess we're in before. We cannot bring back the past. We cannot turn back time, no matter how much we want to. The industry of the future, folks, is lightweight, electronic, automated industry. If you want to bring back jobs, you have to do all kinds of different things. There's no one quick fix solution. My platform, number one, is to modernize the city, and that in and of itself would be such a boon to bringing back jobs, but it's not enough by itself. When employers, corporations come in and they look at a city, people spoke about Amazon coming to town here. I think they went to Aurelia actually, or they went somewhere up north, but I'm pretty sure they went to a smart city. Amazon's an internet company. If we don't have next generation internet, 5G, fiber optic, if we don't have the capabilities to facilitate their business, they're not going to come here. And then when they do come here, do you think they just look at that? No, they don't. They look at how livable the city is. Is it a walkable smart city? Is it green? Is it sustainable? They look at that. We don't even have charging stations or adequate bike lanes. We have nothing in this city to offer anyone. They're not going to come here. The only way they'll come, and do you think if they see Mayor Campion and all of his shenanigans at the MPCA and in regional council and here in city council, you think when they see that they're going to come here? They're not. Their solution to get General Electric here was to bypass all the important work that we need to do about environmental impacts, all the different assessments that need to do, like looking into General Electric's history and where they are at financially abroad. If anyone would have paid attention, they would have been able to see that they were suffering globally, and they ended up selling out from under us. And they're not selling to another company that's going to be continuing building or production, though it may seem that way now. We need to have a mayor that'll ask more questions, because from what I understand, they were sold to a private liquidation firm, an equity firm. There's no hard hats and work boots. We're talking about suits and ties. We're talking about restructuring and selling and liquidating. So I don't know what's in the future there, but if I'm mayor, I'm going to ask those questions. I'm going to ask the questions about our polluted lands, our brownfields. Really ask those questions. I'm not going to go up on top of that toxic waste dump behind Walmart and say, oh yeah, Mount Vista. No, I'm not doing that. I'm filing an Environmental Commission of Ontario report to find out what's really going on, to get independent testing done, because the testing that's been made available is definitely flawed, folks. I've got it all. I've done a ton of research on it. Now let me move on. I spoke about the other candidates. I'm not trying to disparage anybody. What I'm trying to do is protect our future. I care about Welland, okay, for real. Now what we have coming is frightening, folks. We have people that need to understand the Municipal Act. The way it works right now, and at first, you know, some of the folks around Welland would come to me, you know, the local leaders and stuff, and they'd be very hush-hush, doing their whisper campaigns, but I would be hearing a lot about parcels of land and dollar figures and people going away for the weekend, and then all of a sudden they got an in-ground pool in their backyard, or a new addition built on their house, or a new car in the driveway. And I thought to myself, how the heck can that happen? You know, is nobody watching? Well, as it turns out, the only legal recourse, okay, for someone, a civilian here, a local Niagara resident or Welland resident, to be able to point out a pecuniary conflict of interest, our only legal recourse is to sue them in civil court, to pay thousands of dollars on something. And listen to this, folks. They have $100,000 set aside just for that very thing for each of these councillors. So guess how many times it's happened? 0. Okay? We need to have someone like me who's not interested in having a BMW in the driveway or whatever people are interested in blowing their money on. I care about what matters. I care about my pride. I'm very much about doing the right thing, because I didn't always. And it didn't work out well for me. I don't know if it's karma, law of probability, whatever it is. I believe if you do good, good things happen. And so that's why I'm here. I just want to call these guys out, get this over with, because, you know, when they're worried about all the shenanigans that they're up to, you know, I asked Mayor Campion, he admitted that what he's doing at the MPCA warrants a criminal investigation. He admitted it to me. It's on my YouTube. Check it out, David Clow. He admitted he wants to quit. He said he doesn't even want to do the job anymore. He said he was there because he wanted to try and fix things. That's why he's saying he's continuing on as mayor, because he wants to try and fix things. But how many times has he been in the news or anywhere saying that he's trying to fix it? Zero. He's done nothing. Where's all this missing money? Who's going to ask? Who's going to add it up? It's going to be me right here doing it. Nobody else. Trust me. And I'm going to be like this with the integrity commissioner. I'm going to make sure that everyone's following the rules, because that's what I'm here for. Because if we do follow the rules, and if we are following everything that we're supposed to be doing, the provincial legislature, and following the mandate, then we can turn the city into a smart, walkable city. We can make it so it'll be a destination for folks. I brought up the highway that Mayor Campion wants to build another highway. He loves the idea of it. He's so lost in the past, he has no clue about the future. To be a smart city, a walkable city, means you have walkable destinations. The more roads you have, the more highways we have, the more people spend on transportation. How about we try to flip that script and have it, instead of having a car-centered construction and plan, we have it a person-centered plan. And this is what you'll find in the World Economic Forum. This is what this services, this IFT services will tell us to do. This is what Toronto will tell us to do. There's a reason why Google and Sidewalk Labs are investing downtown Toronto along the waterfront. And they're joining together to invest money in the infrastructure, technological infrastructure for the future, because the city council are on the right page with that. I'm not sure with what's going to happen with the future, and this brings up the provincial legislation, and it brings up what's happening in Toronto, and it brings up one of my other platforms. I'm not going to throw them all on you now. I'm going to put a video for each platform, but we need to start paying attention to ourselves here. Local food security, energy security, arriving at as much sovereignty as we can over ourselves here in Welland. And this is not about party politics. I'm so against that. Everyone keeps asking, what party are you for? Because most of the candidates that are vying off against me are conservative. And they're very much on this conservative page. But this is not about foreign policy. This is about Welland. This is about us here. It's got nothing to do with these federal issues. They're trying to gain a stranglehold municipally, provincially, and federally, because that's their plan of attack. It's militant almost and frightening, if you ask me. And that's why I'm doing this, because I'm here to defend reason, logic. Now, one of my other platforms is that I'm going to be demanding transparency and accountability. And it's going to be a direct democracy, as opposed to the representative democracy that we've been used to. We give them our vote and they just run off and do whatever they want. Well, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to have a town hall meeting every week. I'm going to make sure that I'm listening to what everybody says. Now, the reason for a smart city is threefold. Economically resilient. A city that plans for the future doesn't just bring in corporations, it brings in the people. If we have the walkable destinations, if we have the people walking those destinations, they're going to be healthier, they're going to be happier, they're going to have a higher level of well-being here. This is the job of the mayor and council, to pay attention to the well-being of the people here. I keep hearing about the corporation, the corporation, the corporation. That's all they care about. They go behind closed doors for everything. They're not allowed to make decisions in those behind closed doors meeting. And to say behind closed doors is not a blanket statement that you can throw at everything to just not answer questions. This is why the mayor can't come to the debate. After 5 to 35 seconds of talking with me, Mayor Campion is trembling, dripping with sweat, covered red, pupils dilated, because he can't control himself. He has no emotional control over himself because he has no response to these questions. Ask him. See what he says. Watch how long he'll stay answering your questions. So, again, I have 10 pledges I'm going to be putting forward. I'm going to be making sure that we facilitate all those pledges. Now, I'm not going to be adversarial against any other candidates. I'm not going to be adversarial against anybody. The thing that we need to do is come up with a plan, and we need to have a plan in place, and we need to make sure that that vision and that mission is where we head as a city. I'm putting forward these 10 pledges as part of my platform that will describe a very integrated and interdependent plan toward providing jobs. Because without the jobs, we got nothing, okay? We need to have dinner on our tables at night. We need to make sure our car insurance is paid and our rents are paid or our mortgage are paid. Whatever we need to have taken care of, those things, and then we can get together as a community. Now, that is what everyone always asks. They always ask those questions, the exact same questions. How are we going to do that? How are we going to bring down housing costs? How are we going to make things viable for people? It's never going to be a one-answer solution. You're going to hear from other candidates, you're going to hear from the mayor how he wants to just keep going in the same direction we've been going. Well, folks, that direction is a downward spiral. I don't know why the mayor doesn't notice that, but I sure do. And I've seen it. I'm 42 years old. I grew up on these streets, and I'm telling you, I just want to cry sometimes. I go out front of the hub here and I look up the street, and yeah, Lucas's place looks great, the Spinoza's place looks great, Terrace looks great, but everything else is a nightmare. And I'm sorry for being honest, folks. We need to talk about the elephants in the room. We need to talk about addiction. We need to talk about mental health. We need to talk about the housing. We need to talk about poverty. We need to talk about these things immediately. And you know what? When I hear all these rich people talking about poverty, it doesn't make me feel very good. I got to be honest with you. And that's all I got is honesty. And if anyone has a problem with me, if anyone has a question for me, if anyone has anything they want to say to me at all, I'm at 51 Niagara Street. Come on in. Give me a call, 905-714-0816. I'll pick up the phone. It's right here. I'll talk to you. I'm not going to be hidden ever. I'm not going to be unavailable like our mayor. So that's basically it. That's why I'm running. These issues are, I think, what's on everybody's mind. I think we're all thinking the same thing. You know, we just want to know that things are going to be okay tomorrow. We want to know that we're going to have a stable future, and that's what this all comes back to. It's all about jobs, really. In the end, it's all about, you know, you hear them talk about it all the time in council about strategic economic development, and it seems like we've just, you know, heard that word over and over and over again to the point that it's pretty much lost all meaning. Because if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a mission and a vision in place, it becomes really difficult to execute any plan at all. And the problem arises in the way that without that plan, it becomes a lot of just hunches and emotional, visceral responses that lead to the decisions that are being made in council, and it's often at our cost. We lose out because of those issues that are often politically motivated. So I just want everybody to know that my 10 pledges are, I haven't put them all out yet. As I've said, I've alluded to a few of them, but I've only put forward the first pledge to modernize Welland and turn it into a walkable smart city. But all the pledges together, as I've said, they're integrated, but they're also very interdependent, and they require one another, because no one of those plans together will be enough to really bring in the jobs. But again, our mayor and our city council and city staff, they keep focusing on bringing in these jobs, bringing in corporations, but a corporation is not going to come to a deserted town in the middle of nowhere. They're not going to come and say, we're going to set up shop here. We have to focus on the people first. Keep our people here happy, and then the corporations will come. It's a chicken and egg thing here, and these people are just focusing on the ends and forgetting about the means that get us to that. It's not a one answer solution. You know, you're going to hear from other councillors, you're going to hear from the mayor about passion and hunger and all these terms, these phrases that they're putting forward about being a people person or something like that, or being connected. That's meaningless. What matters is a plan. I'm the only candidate putting forward a comprehensive platform, okay? And this is what we need, because it's lacking. We don't have it regionally, we don't have it municipally, and we definitely don't have any hope in hell of getting out of the issues, getting away from the issues, all the elephants in the room that all the candidates and all the politicians want to ignore. We have no way to get past that stuff until we're viable as a city, until we're thriving as families, as communities, as people that are happy and working and willing to contribute. And again, once we get that, once these businesses can see that we have happy people, a happy community, a thriving community, a walkable, smart city, then they'll come. So it's not thinking about the other way around. No corporations will come here until we make it a viable city for the people. So That's what I'm for. I've always been for the little person. I'm not here because I have any financial interest. I'm not here because I have a business I'm trying to promote. The hub is not a business. Everything's for free here. It's my gift to the community, and what I'm doing here is just what the job description is. It's a civil servant, and this is what we need. We haven't had anything that I see that's any semblance of service for us. It's usually service for themselves. You know, when you're paying your brother and your mother for contracts that there should be open bids for, and when the money ends up in your pocket, that's why they're doing this. That's why they're so upset. You got to remember, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And I don't know if people notice or not, but a lot of the people that are usually enemies in this town have been teaming up to do what they can to try to hold me down and hold me back. And thankfully, it hasn't been working. So if any of this at all makes any sense to you, come into the hub, please help me. Let's do this. Let's work together. You know, I said before, I want to work with everybody I can. I'm going to need to work with the regional council. I'm going to need to work with our city council here. I'm going to need to work with city staff, all the councilors, and I'm going to, because I'm going to only demand that we follow the rules. And when we do, if you follow the rules, then they'll work together. Everyone will work together as long as we're on the same page and it's not about emotional bickering or politicking. And that's all we've been facing so far. So please help out, share this video, you know, come in, give me a call, do what you can, support in any way you can, because I hate to say it, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm the only hope we got here, folks.